Hi, I'm Raj and I love you. And today I'm going to talk to you about ducks, but not really.
My show is better than yours. My show's better than yours. You got a show, so I told. My show's better than yours.
Today I'm going to talk to you about the Hans Christian Andersen short story that came out in 1843, The Ugly Duckling. If you haven't heard the story, which I'd really be surprised if you hadn't, it's the story of a small bird that wakes up in a barn and the other ducks pick on him, or the other farm animals pick on him because he doesn't look like the other ducks. He just feels worthless and different, and so he goes out into the world and he's only mistreated further because he still thinks he's a duck and he's like the ugliest duck that anyone's ever seen. And so finally he decides to end his life by throwing himself at some swans to commit swanicide. And the swans look at him and say, well, aren't you a very sexy swan? Because swans are creepy. Let's just face it, they're creepy weirdos. So he looks down at his reflection and biggity bam, he's a fucking swan. Our duck friend has become a swan. First off, I've heard about this story my entire life. For over 30 years now, I have been aware, at least peripherally, of the story of the Ugly Duckling. Disney did two versions of it, once in 1931 and once in 1939. I've seen the thing, okay? But until this morning when I was taking a shit, where honestly most of my really good ideas hatch, I thought the point of this story was about change. But it's not. Ducks can't change into swans. No matter how hard a duck tries, he will never be a swan. This story isn't about an ugly duckling. Our protagonist isn't even a duck, let alone ugly. He's a swan. He's a swan trying to be a duck. He looks at his surroundings and finds himself lacking because he feels that he's the one thing that doesn't match everything else. It's not until the end when he sees other things that are like him that he's like, not only am I not a duck, I'm beautiful, but I fear something. Because even when I looked it up on Wikipedia, the story seems to be a story of a duck that changes into a swan. And I don't think that's the proper message. You can't turn yourself into the beautiful thing that you want to be. You can just realize that everybody's idea of beauty is different. He failed at being a duck, but he was an excellent swan. The point I missed as a child and never bothered to re-examine as an adult is that the swan was a swan all along. The reason that he felt ugly was that the world around him didn't match him. And it's a lot easier to change yourself than it is to change the entire world. But the truth is, if he hadn't tried to be a duck, he wouldn't have been so sad, and the rest of the world wouldn't have had to give him so much shit for being a duck. If he could have accepted himself, maybe the rest of the farm could have too. Maybe his stomach wouldn't have hurt his entire life either. Okay. Fucking bye, you sexy swans.